Not many folks realize it, but there are simple, often forgotten practices that can completely change your health after you turn 60. Most people think that once you're past 61, all that's left is to wait for the next doctor's appointment or put up with the aches and pains. But that's just not true. A fellow named Edgar Cayce left behind some interesting records about morning habits that could not only boost your energy, but also add decades to your life. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it's natural to be skeptical, but the accounts are clear, straightforward, and involve actions so simple anyone can do them without spending a dime. In this video, we're going to explore exactly what he recommended and why it's still relevant today. If you're over 61 or know someone who is, it's worth paying attention. It could be the difference between just a few more years or adding decades with a clear head, energy, and joy. One of the main points of his advice was to start the day with a ritual that involved both your body and mind. No miracle cures or expensive treatments, mind you. It was a routine that mixed quiet time, some light movements, and using your mind in an active way. Many who followed these suggestions reported consistent improvements in their mood, sleep, digestion, and even memory. And it all started right when they woke up, before they even had their breakfast. If this sounds good to you so far, why not subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up? That'll help us keep bringing you valuable content like this, especially designed for folks who want to age with more health and awareness. Now, let's understand how this works in practice and what you can start doing first thing tomorrow morning. Cayce's guidance was surprisingly practical. He suggested that as soon as you wake up, you should sit on the edge of your bed for a few minutes, breathing deeply and giving thanks for the new day. It wasn't anything mystical or religious, but an exercise in attention and intention. Then, he recommended stretching your arms and legs slowly, getting your circulation going. According to him, simply moving your body before doing anything else gets your body ready to function better during the day. And there's a logic to that. Modern studies show that those first few minutes of the day directly affect our stress levels, focus, and even our immune system. But Cayce was talking about this long before science confirmed it. What else did he suggest? In the next bits, we'll dive into these practices and see how they can fit into your routine easily and effectively. Besides the conscious awakening, he suggested a sequence of 3 simple movements. Raising your arms above your head as if you're stretching, bending forward to touch your knees or shins, and then slowly rotating your neck from side to side. Nothing intense, nothing that requires physical training. The idea was to wake up the nervous system, get the blood flowing, and send a signal to your body that the day has begun. He said that these gestures allow your brain to receive more oxygen, which leads to more mental clarity and energy. Even though it sounds simple, many older folks who started doing this routine reported feeling less pain, more energy, and even more enthusiasm for the small tasks of the day. The secret was regularity, not doing it once in a while but making it part of your life, like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. A small action, but with surprising long-term effects. Another key point was being mindful of your thoughts in the first few hours of the day. Cayce believed that what we think when we wake up shapes the rest of the day. That's why he recommended thinking about something positive, even if it's simple, like a sincere thank you for your health, your home, your family, or for another day of life. This practice had a clear purpose: to direct your mind toward well-being and reduce the impact of negativity. According to him, this daily exercise of gratitude not only improved your mood, but also influenced your body, helping to regulate your heart rate and breathing. Nowadays, science proves that positive mental states really do affect physical health. The recommendation is simple but powerful. Instead of grabbing your phone or worrying about the clock, how about taking 2 minutes to think about something good? That could be the emotional anchor of your day. Cayce also placed great importance on digestion and bowel function, especially for those over 60. He said that many health problems started there, in a slow and overloaded digestive system. That's why he suggested drinking a glass of warm water as soon as you wake up, with a few drops of lemon if you can. The goal was to stimulate your liver, help eliminate toxins, and get your stomach ready for breakfast. This simple act is already supported by modern doctors as one of the healthiest habits to start the day. In addition, He recommended walking for a few minutes after getting up, even if it's inside your house. That would help wake up your internal organs and activate your metabolism. It may not seem like much, but adding these small daily actions over months and years, the benefits accumulate quietly and powerfully. One interesting thing is that Cayce didn't talk about body and mind separately. To him, the key to vitality was the harmony between the two. He saw health as the result of a daily balance between what we think, feel, and do. That's why, when suggesting these morning practices, he didn't just focus on physical well-being, but also on building a more conscious attitude toward life. This approach, simple as it is, brings a valuable lesson. It's possible to take care of your health even with limited resources, as long as there's consistency and intention. He insisted that true transformation comes with time, not in big sudden changes, one step at a time every day. This philosophy is even more relevant for those in their golden years because it doesn't require extreme effort or drastic changes, just daily attention to details that are usually ignored. Another curious aspect was his view on the importance of sunlight in the first hours of the day. According to Cayce, exposing yourself to morning light for just a few minutes helps adjust your body clock, improve your mood, and promote sleep at night. Back then, that seemed like just a personal belief, but today it's widely proven. Studies show that natural light regulates the production of melatonin and improves the circadian rhythm, directly influencing the quality of rest and energy during the day. That's why he recommended opening a window, walking a little in the yard, or simply sitting in the sun for a few minutes after waking up if possible. It wasn't necessary to sunbathe directly or excessively, but to allow your body to recognize that the day had begun. This small exposure was part of the ritual of preparing your body for a healthier and more balanced routine. It's worth pointing out that all these suggestions had a practical and accessible basis. He knew that most of the people who came to him didn't have access to doctors, medicines, or sophisticated treatments. So his suggestion was simple. Use what you have available to keep your body working well. Warm water, morning sun, conscious breathing, light stretching, gratitude, and movement. It's a basic but powerful package. And the most interesting thing is that these habits, if kept up for weeks, begin to generate noticeable results. Not magic effects, but natural ones. Improved energy, less fatigue, easier digestion, calmer mind. The secret is in the continuity. It's no use doing it once and expecting changes. But if you start tomorrow and repeat every day, in a month, your body will have assimilated these new patterns. Another point he often emphasized was the importance of avoiding heavy foods first thing in the morning. According to Cayce, the body, when it wakes up, is still in a process of elimination, not complete digestion. That's why he recommended starting the day with something light, like fruit, porridge, or a simple toast. The goal was to provide energy without overloading your system. He believed that this helped not only with digestion, but also with mental clarity and emotional stability during the day. Many older folks who follow this tip report less bloating, more energy, and even an improved mood. Modern science also recognizes that lighter meals in the morning facilitate the functioning of your metabolism, especially in people over 60, and you don't have to follow a strict or expensive diet. Simple choices, made consciously, are enough to transform the way we start each day. In addition to diet and physical rituals, Cayce greatly valued silence. In a world that was already hectic even in his day, he suggested that the first hours of the day be protected from unnecessary noise. No radio playing, hurried conversations, or anticipated worries. He encouraged starting the day calmly, setting aside a few minutes to be in absolute silence, listening only to your own breathing or the natural sounds around you. This moment of quiet, according to him, helped stabilize the nervous system and prepare the mind to deal with daily challenges more serenely. Today, practices like meditation and mindfulness prove the effects of this conscious pause. But Cayce was already pointing out this path decades earlier. This practice is especially beneficial in later years, as it offers a space to reconnect with your own rhythm without hurry, without pressure, just presence. Cayce also mentioned the importance of avoiding negative thoughts or criticisms when waking up. He said that the first thoughts of the day created a kind of internal climate, and that this climate influenced all the interactions and decisions that would come later. That's why he suggested replacing complaints with simple and positive affirmations. Something like "today will be a good day," or "I am willing to live well." It wasn't about naive optimism, but a conscious choice about how to manage your own mental state. This exercise, done daily, began to shape behavior and emotions in a more balanced way. And the most interesting thing is that it doesn't take time or effort. Just remember, when you open your eyes, that we have the power to choose our first thought. Over time, this practice creates a more stable emotional foundation, which makes all the difference in mental health over the years. Many older people report that, after adopting these practices, they began to feel a kind of daily renewal, as if each morning was a chance to start over. And that makes sense. When you establish a simple and positive ritual to start the day, you create a structure that brings security, predictability, and purpose. Cayce said that the conscious repetition of these actions transformed not only the body, but also the way the person saw their own life. It's as if, by taking care of the first hours of the day, we also take care of the direction we choose to follow. This sense of control and clarity can be decisive for those in their golden years and seeking to maintain autonomy and self-esteem. It's not magic, it's routine. A routine that is built with small gestures, but which, over time, can mean the difference between aging passively or with active and healthy presence. Another curious detail is that he never recommended these practices as an obligation. On the contrary, he emphasized the importance of doing everything lightly, as a gift to yourself. No demands or perfectionism. If one day it wasn't possible to do all the steps, that's okay. The important thing was to maintain the intention of care and resume them as soon as possible. This shows a deep understanding of the reality of older people who often face physical or emotional limitations. Cayce seemed to understand that the secret of well-being lies more in consistency than in rigidity. Adapting the recommendations to your own routine, to your own body, was part of the process. This flexibility made the practices more accessible and sustainable over time, avoiding abandonment and encouraging continuity. The focus was well-being, not perfection. And perhaps the most relevant of everything Cayce said is the idea that it's never too late to start. Even if the person is 70, 80, or even older, they can still reap benefits by starting new habits. Life doesn't have to follow a fixed script. It can be reviewed, adjusted, and improved at any time. This view contradicts what many believe, that aging is just dealing with losses. For him, aging could be a phase of gains, of time, of wisdom, and of presence. And when you start the day with practices that nourish your body and mind, that becomes even more true. Mornings cease to be just the beginning of another day and become a space for reconstruction. If you're over 61, know that there's still much to live. And perhaps with some simple adjustments, this new cycle can be even better than you imagined. Among the accounts that have emerged over the years, many state that simply adopting a calmer and more intentional rhythm early in the day brought a new perspective on life. People who previously felt directionless, trapped in heavy routines, began to face the day with more lightness and energy. This doesn't mean that the problems disappeared, but that they began to face them with a different attitude. Cayce saw this as an internal realignment. He believed that by starting the day taking care of themselves attentively, people developed a silent strength that helped them deal with bigger challenges. And this strengthening didn't depend on age or physical condition. It was something that was born from constant practice, like an emotional muscle being exercised. This shows that living well isn't a matter of luck or youth, but of small choices made consistently. Another important point was autonomy. By proposing simple practices, Cayce offered people a way to take care of themselves without depending on medications, consultations, or devices. It was an approach that valued the knowledge of the body and mind, often ignored over the years. When someone goes back to trusting themselves to feel better, something changes. Self-esteem improves, the feeling of uselessness disappears, and a new desire to live arises. This is especially relevant for older adults who often feel they no longer have control over their day. By establishing a morning ritual, even if brief, the person regains part of that control. And this recovery impacts all areas: health, relationships, motivation, and even creativity. It's as if the body responds to the care with gratitude, functioning better, with more energy and joy. Cayce also warned about the dangers of mental passivity over time. He said that letting the mind wander without direction, first thing in the morning, could be as harmful as a bad diet. That's why he emphasized that the first ideas of the day should be clear and constructive. This didn't require intellectual effort, but a conscious choice about where to place your focus. Think about what you want to improve. Remember something good. Visualize a moment of peace. These simple mental gestures helped organize thoughts and avoid the accumulation of worries early in the day. It's like making the bed, but inside your head. And, just as making the bed brings a sense of order and readiness, these intentional thoughts prepared the mind to act with more balance throughout the day. A small exercise that generates great results over time. Over time, these morning practices become more than a sequence of actions. They become a kind of conversation with yourself. Each deep breath, each light stretch, each positive thought creates a moment of reconnection with what really matters. And this, for those who have lived many decades, can be extremely valuable. Instead of just following the day's commitments or dealing with physical limitations, these routines offer a space of choice and self-care. Cayce said that this type of daily attention changed the way the body reacted to diseases, fears, and even loneliness. By putting yourself back in the center of your own life, even if for a few minutes the person rediscovers meaning. And there's nothing more powerful than that. When there's meaning, there's strength. And when there's strength, life, regardless of age, starts to pulsate again with more clarity and intention. There is also a preventive aspect to this approach. Instead of waiting for problems to appear and then react, these practices encourage constant care, even if the body is still well. Many older people report that by adopting these routines while they still feel strong, they are able to maintain that vitality for longer. It's like keeping a healthy plant watered every day, not just when the leaves start to fall. This continuous care is what sustains an active, lucid, and above all dignified old age. Cayce believed that it was possible to age with less suffering, as long as the body and mind were treated as allies, not as obstacles. And this mentality can transform the way we face the future. Instead of fearing the years to come, we begin to prepare for them with confidence and serenity. Finally, it's important to remember that none of this requires drastic changes. It's not about reinventing life, but about adjusting the beginning of each day. This change, although it seems small, has a domino effect. A day starts better, the mood improves, decisions become clearer, relationships become lighter. And over the weeks, this directly impacts health. Less stress, better digestion, deeper sleep, more energy. It all starts there in the first minutes after waking up. Cayce understood this before many scholars of modern medicine. His legacy, simple as it may seem, has stood the test of time precisely because it works. And it works because it respects the nature of the human being, made of rhythm, repetition, and intention. When we pay attention to the beginning, we give structure to the whole. And that can be the turning point for a longer and better life. By integrating body, mind, and attitude in the first hours of the morning, we create a solid foundation for the rest of the day. And as we've seen, it doesn't take anything more than the will and a few minutes to start this transformation. The wisdom left by Cayce has not been lost over time because it speaks to something essential that we all feel, especially after 61, the desire to live with quality, with presence, and with meaning. And that desire no longer needs to be postponed. Healthy longevity doesn't depend only on genetics or luck, but on simple decisions repeated with awareness. It may seem small at first, but it is exactly this little that, added day after day, generates the great results. Health is built in silence, in the details, in the choices that no one sees. And when these choices are made first thing in the morning, they shape the tone of what is to come. Each dawn becomes a new chance. Perhaps the biggest lesson that can be drawn from all of this is that aging doesn't have to be a process of giving up. On the contrary, it can be the ideal time to deepen self-care, to look more kindly at your own body, recognize what it needs, and offer it without haste. Cayce reminds us that, even in the face of the limitations that the years bring, we still have room to act, transform, and grow. This vision gives power, and with that power come new meanings for the days we still have ahead. The morning practice he proposed is not a miraculous formula, but an invitation to conscious awakening. And this, for those who value each day they receive, is more than enough. It's a way of living with more dignity, more balance, and more truth. And that, yes, can prolong life with quality. If you've made it this far, you may be feeling exactly what so many other people have felt when discovering this path, that there's still much to be lived, learned, and enjoyed. And if this video has brought something useful to you, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a comment telling us how you start your day. Your words can inspire other people to also make simple but powerful changes. After all, it's never too late to start something good. And if each morning brings a new chance, why not try? A longer and fuller life may be just a few minutes away, repeated with care, intention, and consistency. May this message stay with you, and tomorrow morning, may it make a difference in the way you choose to start your day. Thank you for watching and for walking with us this far. May there be many more good days ahead.